Hello, I'm Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 118 of How Married Are You?
Okay, my name Beleaf, this is Yvette, and we've been married 11 years. You can't just interrupt me. We've only been married 11 years.
But on August 4th, we'll be married 11 years and 363 days.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. We're going to shoot a few episodes, and then, look at Jet. He's got his head down. He's like, I got to edit this.
My name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 118 of How Married Are You?
Okay, my name Beleaf, this is Yvette, and we've been married 11 years. Live in California. Got four kids. Relationships scary, and it's very necessary that we share our love of struggles, and we ask how married are you? Every week on the Thursday, shawty. If you're listening, you're in the wedding party. It's okay if you want to put your hands up. You got the questions, we got the answers. Chocolate baby story time. Chocolate baby story time.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Okay, 1 and 2 and 3. Here we go.
Did you say we're here weekly on Thursdays?
I said every week on a Thursday.
Oh. I don't know what happened. I got tuned out.
All right, man. I need you to get your head in the game. Okay? You got this?
I'm in.
You go first.
Okay. My chocolate baby story time is Uzziah just turned 3 2 months ago.
Praise God.
And, you know, I was wanting to potty train him a while ago, like maybe a year ago. However, it just was not working out well. And so I was like, you know what, we'll just wait until he's ready. And so it's gotten to the point where he is ready and he's doing pretty good. It's just that he insists on going potty in our bathroom. Like literally, was it today? Yes, it was today because I had just gotten out of the shower. So I locked the door because I'm just tired of the kids busting in the room. And all of a sudden I hear this like thumping at the door, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, who is it? And it's like, I gotta go potty. And I'm like, you literally just passed 2 bathrooms to get to my bathroom. Mm-hmm. But I opened the door and I let the child use the potty because I don't want to discourage him from using the potty. So there's that. But he thinks that our toilet is his throne. No, I had just gotten out of the shower.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Uzi's a mess. Can we talk about that viral video that you just posted, though? Yes. So Uzi, and I saw this secondhand, right? So Yvette is at the house. She's recording the kids. Anaya is apparently running upstairs to tell on Uzi because he punched her, right? The thing is about Uzi, a lot of times, all I hear is, the first thing Uzi says is, all I hear is like from a different room, it goes, don't tell dad. And then one of the kids coming, no, I said don't tell dad. And so Uzi actually got there first.
Yes, Uzi made it up the stairs before Anaya did.
And she was trying to get in the door. All you hear is, Mom, Uzi punched me in the... He closed the door, shut the door, and then Anaya goes, what did she say? Open this door right now or I'm going to call the cops. Not tell dad. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like, not threaten his livelihood. It was like, I'm going to call the cops on you.
And it's just like, call the cops. Mom's scarier.
No landline. How's she going to call the cops? How's she going to call the cops?
We should ask her what's the number to call the cops. Because I don't know if she knows, which is not good. Actually.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we're done with Chocolate Baby story time. And we're ready to welcome you, Black. Welcome, Black, to How Married Are You? It's been 19 months.
19 months.
And we have already started posting micro content. And we went live on Patreon. And we're back.
We are.
Okay. And so how does it feel to be back? Or let's go ahead and discuss this. We got a lot of stuff has happened since we've been gone in our lives and in your lives and in the world. And so last episode was...
December something. I think it was like December 20th, 2020.
Okay.
It was definitely December of 2020.
Okay, yeah. And so, yeah, babe, let's get into this topic.
Well, the topic is just us being back. We asked you guys on Instagram a while back, like just some questions you wanted to hear us talk about or whatever. And a lot of y'all were asking about the break. And so I figured this first episode back could just be kind of a recap of what has happened in 19 months, because we have experienced so much life in 19 months.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, there was a question that was like, did you enjoy the break? And so I just want to start there.
Okay. So my answer to that is yes. I didn't enjoy not recording, but I did enjoy not having to have discussions think about all the things we've been through in the past 19 months and then having to weed through conversations with each other when I don't even know if we were really, I don't even know if we were ready to even discuss any of those conversations because they were so deep and so time consuming. And, can we just start naming some of the things that happened or?
Sure.
Or do you want to talk about if you enjoyed the break?
Did I enjoy the break? I missed recording. I missed this. And I missed this, and I'm grateful for the clarity that I got from the break regarding how married are you, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where we're headed. So I do feel like there's a little bit more alignment as a result of the break, and for that I'm grateful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think one of the questions we discovered was, I think it was my decision to be like, I'm not doing this, I can't do this in this way, and you agreed, and we just didn't. And I ultimately I don't know if we would have been able to make it through that. Yeah. Because doing podcasts as a couple is very difficult. We're not ready to talk about the things that we have to talk about. And literally the next conversation for me has to be this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, we got to talk about this. I ain't trying to hear all of that.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing for breakfast until this.
Glen is the guy that will, I don't know, man. It's tough being married to a lyricist or someone who's so gifted with their words, because he's always ready to give analogy after analogy after explanation in order to help me understand where he's coming from. Whereas I need a little bit more time to put my words together, especially communicating to Glen, because Glen hangs on to every single pronoun, noun, verb, adjective. Like he is.
I will listen to what you say.
Yes. And so I have to say what I mean and mean what I say the first time, or it will be taken. I will be living with those words for the rest of my life.
And on the other side, you will think something and I will have to listen to your thoughts. But nothing is there for me to.
Facts.
Yeah. So,
Facts. Okay, so let's talk about what happened during the break. I tried to go in consecutive order. I'm trying to be a little bit more organized this time around, y'all, so that Glen sticks around and we don't take any more breaks. No, I'm just kidding. We'll take breaks as needed.
Facts.
However, from December 2020 was 2021. January, whatever. The first thing I wrote is that we continued with couples therapy. I will say that 2021, or even around that time, December 2020, was just a really tough time in our marriage. And so we needed.
Sorry, battery's running low. I apologize.
I already told him. And we needed, but you just made noise. Damn it. We need some WD-40. Stop. I'm trying to focus.
Okay.
Anyways, I wanted to just talk about, and we will talk about therapy because that is a topic that some people have brought up to us in the past couple of weeks of like, hey, will you guys talk on this? And I feel like couples therapy has been very instrumental in us sticking around and in us filling up our tool belt in order to be able to navigate the hard conversations or give each other space when necessary or be intentional in our time together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, excuse me, I do want to say that we did continue with that, and we are still in couples therapy, and we probably will be for a while. Now, so that's that. I was trying to go in consecutive order. January, we have January 2021. I don't feel like anything big happened then. Then we had February 2021, which I don't feel like anything big happened then. Theo turned 8 in February. And then March, Anaya's birthday, she turned 4. And then April 2021, I don't recall anything major. And then May 2021, Glen turned 36. And we went, and it was Mother's Day. So Glen's birthday and Mother's Day are always around the same time. And so we went to Maui.
Yep.
And we almost didn't go, or I almost didn't go. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember. I decided that I wanted to go away for my birthday because for every year consecutively, actually I said it my 35th birthday because I told Yvette.
So his 35th birthday was in 2020, which was like right in the midst of Corona, everything being locked down. I think we were still home. That was in the era of drive-by birthday parties.
Yeah. And so, it was in the era of it, but we had saw it online and I was like, ugh.
Seen it.
We saw it and I said, please don't do that for me. That is so gross. I do not like that. That was like my exact words. Ugh. That was my reaction. So for my birthday, my 35th birthday, 2020, this is before we went on our break, and I think we talked about this before. I said, I'm not going to be here next year.
Oh, yeah. We have talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, I said, I'm not going to be here next year.
And
she just looked at me like, and everything about it was like, I'm ungrateful. It felt like I was ungrateful. I didn't appreciate the lengths that Yvette was going to show how much she loved me, and the people pulling up to the drive-by, looking at me, trying to be excited, but knowing I hate it. They looked at me like, hey, man, we just want to let you know we love you and appreciate you. And I'm just sitting there like, you know what I'm saying? Hi, y'all. Thanks, y'all. Cool, y'all. And then I told her I wasn't going to be there. So I literally was like, yeah, I'm buying a ticket to Hawaii.
He didn't even buy the ticket. I ended up buying the ticket.
I was going to buy the ticket.
He wasn't going to buy the ticket until the day before, fool.
It doesn't matter. I was still going to buy.
You wouldn't have been gone. He wouldn't have had nothing booked. He would just had a ticket.
But that's how I like to travel. You know what I'm saying?
Now.
And so Yvette basically was like, she brought it up to our therapist, right? That like, oh, he's going to go to Hawaii. I don't know if he wants me to go. And that's when we started talking about, do you even want me to go?
Oh, is that how that conversation went?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought we had already decided that I could come with you.
Yes.
And then because we were having such a hard time around that time, I was like, I don't know if I should go. I should just let him go by himself.
Mm-hmm. But it was that you wanted me to want you to go.
Duh.
Yeah. And I was like, you could come or not, but I'm going. Now, I don't know, but I think that what needs to be understood is that I needed time away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my like, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up going together, and for the most part, it was amazing. And then we had a rough time.
The last day.
And then we continued, and then we got back. Father's Day happened, and it was like we went on the road trip right afterwards.
Yeah. So, wow. So then we went on a road trip. We went on a road trip from California to South Carolina. And then in South Carolina, we parked the RV and we flew to Baltimore and stayed there for a couple of days to hang out with Glen's family. And then we flew back to South Carolina and drove the RV back across the country.
Now, our purpose for going on that trip was because earlier that year, my sister had got diagnosed with cancer in like February, I think it was. She told us.
That was February, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, man, like so many people are getting sick, so many people are passing away. We should just do a road trip. And I had already been like, Blair Underwood was like, you should take your family on a road trip. It would be amazing. And like some other men in my life were like, yo, this is a really good idea. So we ended up taking that trip, and it was like for the purpose of for our kids meeting family that helped us become who we are. That's what I decided it was for. Did you have a specific intention?
Well, I just wanted our kids to meet family that they hadn't met before, you know?
Yeah.
And to just get exposed to the outdoors and be together as a unit.
And so we ended up taking that trip. We met family. We got to see sights. It was, we booked it across the United States. 3 weeks, we went all the way across, stayed in Baltimore for a little bit. It just was like fast paced, super unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Rough.
Super unhealthy? What do you mean by that?
Driving that amount of time in such a small vehicle with not enough time to rest in the middle of summer, high heat, body odor, sad showers. You remember that shower in the RV where it felt like somebody was drooling on you?
On you?
Yeah, just leaking on you, and you gotta, what is it? The shower curtain sticking to your arm.
Yes. Ugh. Are we getting one with a door this next time?
Oh man, we're gonna get a whole situation next time.
We should get a glass door.
Anyway, we made that trip, and I would say that it was unhealthy, but we ended up, the kids met your grandfather, and like perfect timing.
Yeah.
Right. So we get back, what? I don't even remember, like June.
At the end of July.
Yeah, July 27th or whatever, something like that. Then my sister is really on the decline. My sister ended up passing away on the 14th of August last year. And so that was kind of the beginning for me of like a, what am I here for type thing. I really had a hard time, and I'm still, I don't know if I ever get over that. This is one of my close people in my life. Women in my life for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like super valuable. And you and her actually got really close too. And so that probably, everything after that was kind of a blur. And I don't know if we could have made it like talking about, like, I don't know if I would have been able to record anything.
We definitely would have been taking a break.
My whole family came in town.
Yeah, that was sweet.
The funeral happened later, a couple months later. Your grandfather passes away. We're talking to the kids a lot about death, and, you know, us having really hard conversations in our own personal marriage life, right? You taking a sabbatical?
Yeah. Yeah, Brittany's passing, and I think just even the back-to-back loss, because, you know, my grandfather passed right after. I think Brittany passed away in August, and then my grandfather passed away in September. And then Glen's cousin passed away in November, and he had, like, just been at our house.
Yes. So when my sister passed away, he came in town, and this is like, you know, we're like brothers, grew up like babies. He came in town for my sister's passing and got to see his family for the first time, because all of them were there, reconcile, and then he got murdered while Yvette was gone.
Yeah. So with Brittany's death, that one hit me hard. I don't know what that is about, and I'm trying to keep my emotions together even now thinking about it. But I think it made me realize that I had been living with a sense of grief. The grief I experienced with Brittany's death was way too familiar. it like brought grief to the surface that I had been living with for years, to be honest. And it was getting to the point where I could no longer just, I don't even know how to explain it, but I just couldn't continue the way that I was continuing. And I had heard about this 3-week intensive retreat out of Washington that was with a Christian psychologist. And it was like complete isolation and all kinds of things. And so I actually ended up, I don't know, I think we reached another tough spot. Or I just kind of wanted to share with Glenn like where I was at in one of our therapy sessions. And I was like, this is how far I'm like going. I'm looking into this and yada, yada, yada. And just kind of mentioned it. I wasn't necessarily thinking about going because the idea of leaving all of my kids and my husband for that amount of time and not being able to even talk to them, FaceTime and whatever, just didn't feel ideal. And especially for the timing. Like, Glenn just lost his sister. He's in mourning. There's just a lot going on there. And so, nonetheless, Glenn being who he is, as gracious as he is, he encouraged me to go. And I was like, well, you know, I could go next year. And he was like, no, go.
Yeah.
Like, go now. And it was like the next one, which was in October. So October of last year, I left for 3 weeks by myself and went through a very intense situation. And
it was secluded. Mm-hmm. You couldn't go to the store.
Yeah.
You couldn't call nobody.
Nope.
No TV.
He literally took my phone, gave me a flip phone that was really just to call him in case of an emergency, the psychologist. And yeah, it was just me, the Holy Spirit, and my journal and nature.
And so one thing I wanted to say too was that I think one of the interesting things that people would assume is like this whole submission thing, right? Mm-hmm. So like people talk about, well, you know, you should submit to her or she should submit to you when you can lead or whatever the situation was. But this is a prime example of how I submitted to you, because I recognized that you needed something that I couldn't give to you, and you wanted to go away from my protection, away from our home, into some secluded area with a guy I've never met who's going to take all the rights for me to communicate with you away. I have never heard of that before. Babe, it was secluded. Mm-hmm. We've never been there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if someone could have, I feel like someone should have told me that at some point in your marriage, your wife is going to have to leave you. Mm. She's going to have to go away and you can't talk to her, because I wasn't prepared for that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't necessarily something that I needed to agree with you on. But if I recognize that you need something and you're telling me you need something and I can't give it to you, then you need to go get it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I believe that the Holy Spirit is speaking to you. You know what I mean? And there were certain events that happened in our community, and you were saying things that I was kind of like, oh, yeah, she's not doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah, she's not doing well at all. Mm-mm. And
oh,
so,
my gosh.
Oh, babe.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so I had to relinquish control and submit to your needs that you needed. And there was one point, the funny thing is though, when you left, you were also trying to still control what I did. And we had to go through that season of like, no, you don't get to tell me what to do and leave at the same time.
I wasn't necessarily trying to control it. I was just trying to, I already knew my absence would be felt. And so I was trying to decrease the impact of that. And so I was trying to put things into place that would help you still be able to do the things that you needed to do. That was my goal. And I understand it came off as controlling, but that was not my intent.
Yeah, I think you did a good job. You wrote the kids letters for every day they were gone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
each of them. I should have just wrote one.
each kid a letter every morning when they woke up,
Yeah.
they had a letter. They were expecting it every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Some mornings, you gave Anaya dresses to wear that matched your dresses because she loves to match. Like, you did an amazing job with that.
Thanks, babe.
With us though, we didn't like. I didn't get no letters.
So my intention was actually to send Glenn emails that were like scheduled, but I just ran out of time, unfortunately.
But what it turned into me was like, I felt like you were tasking me to be you while you were gone, and I can't do that. And the children should know the cost of what that means. Maybe they'll appreciate you more. You know, so that was tough. That was tough. But on the other side, it needed to happen more so than any of us knew. You know what I'm saying? Whew. I don't know if you're ever going to talk about that one day, but if you ever do, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah, it's a very deep and intensive work that you do with the Lord and with this psychologist. Like, I was grateful that he was there to help me navigate some of the things that were coming to light from, you know, just conversations that I was having with the Lord and that were being drawn out through our sessions together. I don't know that I will share. I mean, I definitely am not going to share right now just because we are still walking through a lot of the aftermath of that. There are still some things that I have to work through there. And so I don't know that I will talk about it anytime soon or that I will talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's personal to you. It's not us.
Yeah, it's very personal to me. And so, yeah. So that's that. But I don't know. I think I want to pause here for a moment because I want to encourage us women and men, actually. I want to encourage us as individuals, as people who, I don't know, as people, to just take the time that is necessary. Because even when Glenn was just like pointing out, oh yeah, you were not doing well, I was kind of reflecting back on that time period and it like whelmed me because I was not doing well. And because I have this thing about me where it's like, I got to keep it together. I got to like, you know, whatever. I was not allowing myself to fall apart. And then finally I allowed myself to fall apart into the arms of my father, into the arms of my Abba. And that is exactly what I needed. I have never cried like I cried in Washington. And I have never felt more cared for than I felt in Washington. And it had nothing to do with the psychologist and everything to do with God. And so, I don't know. I just would say don't be afraid to take time for yourself to regroup, because I do feel like it was an opportunity for me to regroup. I also acknowledge that there have been moments since I've been back that I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't think that worked, because I still have days, you know, and moments where I feel whelmed by life. But I just want to say that we all could use the encouragement just to be a little bit more intentional, or a lot more intentional, about taking the time we need in order to care for our mental health. That's all.
And also I want to say too that even though I was willing to let you go, it still was not, I did not understand.
Yeah.
I was pissed because I just didn't get it. So it was like, I was generous with like an asterisk. Like, it was kind of like, well, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do, but don't try to tell me what I'm doing over here. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to protect me too, because I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can rely on you. Like, it was so many things going through my head. I was having such a hard time. And then there was a point where you could have a visitor for one weekend or like one day or something like that. I was like, you want me to fly up there for one day and I got the kids and da-da-da-da. You were like, well, just if it was like.
I didn't know if he was coming.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my phone or anything to know.
Yeah. But like the day before I left, Leon passed away.
Yeah.
And I was angry. And so man, big shout out to E.T. because I was like falling apart, you know what I'm saying? And then I hit up CJ, who has just been an amazing person who is in my life, you know, he's amazing. So anyway, he works with ET, and I was just like, look, man, like I'm having such a hard time. My wife is leaving and she's doing deep work. I just dropped her off at the airport. She's doing deep work for about 3 weeks, and I don't know what to do. And I get this FaceTime. And so I get a FaceTime like maybe 3 days later. And then I ignore it because I didn't recognize the number. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then I get another FaceTime, and I'm like, man, this could be Yvette, but I don't think so. So I ignore it again, and then he calls back again, and I answer the phone, and it's ET. What up, man? I heard you was going through it. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, oh, shoot, it's freaking Eric Thomas. You know what I'm saying? The hip-hop preacher. And I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, I knew I had to call you a couple times because you black, and, we don't be answering the phone.
Especially a FaceTime call. What the heck, man?
I was like, yeah, man, I know, man. And so he basically encouraged me in the sweetest way, like an uncle. It was just like, I was like, look, man, I'm anxious. I'm supposed to go see my wife, and I don't even want to go. I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if she's going to be brainwashed when I get up there. I don't know what the heck's going on. This has got me very confused. And he was like, yeah, man, like, you know, quoting scripture, right? Be anxious for nothing, right? And he goes, we only need your wife at 100%. She's been operating at 40% for years. So we have to do everything we can to get her back at 100%. And we'll focus on you. And I just was like, not even knowing you, right? He cared for you and me in a very generous way. And so I think he gave me that little like push that I needed to get through. Right after that, of course, my cousin passes away. I go spend time with you. And we kind of get through that. First of all, my cousin passed away, and I don't know what to do. I'm like scared to breathe. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Lord, like what the heck is going on? Like, and so one, like we were really close. You know what I'm saying? He comes here, he spends extra time with me. Like the whole family leaves. He stays for like a week, helps me up around the house. We're looking for our new studio together. He's going around taking measurements because he's a carpenter. He's supposed to do the infinity wall cyclorama. That's my guy. I'm there encouraging him. You could tell he's kind of protecting himself because we've known each other close through childhood. You know how you got your favorite cousin? Always go over their house, always fighting, always, you know what I'm saying? Like, we used to be bad together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so now I have an opportunity to like witness, show him. And I'm just like, and before he leaves, I'm like, man, you about to leave? I'm dropping off at the airport. I'm like, bro, what's the one thing you're going to take away from here? He goes, I just want to be a better father. You know, he has a daughter, 18 years old. I just want to be a better father, man. Like, I never thought I wanted to have more kids until I met Uzi. Now I want to have a son. And like, literally 2 months later, shot, murdered at a random shooting in Vegas at a gas station. And so, that was hard. And I realized during that time, I was like, I don't know how strong I'm supposed to be, but I know I'm not that. Like, I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? And so, I think we should stop there.
Yeah. And so this, like the break, we're not even done. That's just 2021 for now.
But I did want to say one thing. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to wrap that up better. I just wanted to say that sometimes you don't necessarily understand what your spouse needs, right? But I would just challenge you to hear them. You know what I'm saying? Because I think even Yvette, I think you can hear me better even since you left. Would you agree?
I think so. There's so much about inner child and all the things that and
boundaries.
And that I've kind of come to understand a lot better. And so I feel like my dealings with everyone is a little bit more, I don't know, careful, like Full, not like, two words. Anywho, I just want to say that, and we've walked through quite a bit of hard over the break, and we've had some really bright moments as well. But we are grateful to be here, and we don't want to spend too much time, or we really don't want to end on such a low note. But there is another side to it, and so we're just glad to be back here and share with you guys some growth points.
Yeah.
And all the things. So we're gonna pause there because I feel like that's enough for this first episode back, and we will tell you about the rest of the break
next time.
Babe, how married are you?
Okay. So we went to the massage parlor.
Yes.
We got a couples massage.
Yeah.
I was reluctant to get a couple massage, and here's the reason why. Censor me now, guys.
I know, I'm so scared.
So when they asked me if I wanted a man or woman, I just said, it doesn't matter. I don't know how many dudes was back there, but I don't think it was any women available. So we both got men. Now the problem is...
Which that was my first time getting a man.
Now the problem is, this is the hardest part about that whole situation. Okay, and I don't know if we want to do the how married are you reacts right now or whatever, but you can show the clip. I didn't want to lay on my stomach. I just didn't feel comfortable. But the problem is, he was very strong. Okay? Here's another problem.
What's...
When things feel good to me. Listen, when things feel good to me, I moan. I
can't do this.
Babe, I can't help it. Listen, come back.
No, babe.
So
be done.
Listen.
Be done.
When it felt good, I wanted to moan, but I couldn't because it was a man. And I didn't know what was, but then
I can't.
When it was too hard and it hurt, I felt like a punk. Like I was like, I can't take it. So I was like, I was stuck in silence.
I am so uncomfortable right now.
I'm sorry. But I would never do that again. I would never do a massage again. I already told you I don't like massages.
I know.
And that was like my thing. You wanted to do it and I did it.
Thanks, babe.
That was super hard for me. Ugh. I'm uncomfortable too. Babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that this morning was trash morning, and I went to double check that you had gotten trash out, which you had, but you left one of the recycle bins behind. And I think it's because you intended to wake up in the morning and break down more boxes and put it in a thing. Is that true? I don't know. Anywho, I'm so married that I didn't wake you up to do it. I just did it myself, even though I had a whole messy kitchen to clean up.
Wow.
From the night before, but.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, babe. All right.
And that's just how married we are.